In Inyo County, we have a lot of different kinds of terrain. We've got lowland, desert, we've got high alpine. And fortunately, we have people on the team that are good at just about all of the disciplines required to get people out. With the case of this Mount Emerson rescue, the call out involved a party of 3 up around 12,000 feet, about 1,500 feet up the south face of Mount Emerson on the waterfall route with a broken leg. This is going to be kind of a crazy one. Most of us have climbed the route before. We know that it's actually more involved than the guidebook makes it sound. It's a couple thousand feet of low 5th class climbing up to a long ridge and then precarious descent.
We were about, I think on the 11th pitch, right before the summit, when the incident happened. The lead in our group, she was leading the rope. I was feeding the rope to her. To the right of her, like a fairly large rock boulder came loose, and so she yells rock. I think it hit, ricocheted, hit my lower leg. I could immediately look down and see that my leg was broken.
As a volunteer team, every time we respond, it's a different team. Our plan A was one SAR responder would fly in a helicopter, be lowered via a cable to the subjects. The subject would then be hoisted up into the helicopter would fly away and everything would work out perfectly. That was our hope. We decided to try plan A. I flew up and the helicopter did a power check.
And then we heard the helicopter. I remember thinking, okay, like someone's coming for us.
We were not able to hover there. He had to do a little bit of a maneuver and fly away.
My head's thinking, I'm gonna be rescued. And it went away and I thought, okay, now what?
Without a helicopter, this is gonna be complicated and likely gonna go well into the night.
The rest of the team was here at the hut, just starting to formulate our plan B, which was going to be through the night rescue scenario where we would have to climb to the patient and then start some sort of lowering system to get them off.
We're gonna have to lower this person with a broken leg down 1,500 feet of vertical rock climbing terrain. We respond to calls on Mount Emerson every year.
Of course, it's the first thing on our mind is how can we do this while first priority, keeping ourselves safe.
I'm familiar with rescue, but I wasn't familiar enough to understand, okay, what actually happens next.
That started plan B. The helicopter would have to shuttle people and equipment, a total of 4 flights to get everything up there, everyone and everything.
At around 8:30 p.m., I'm tying in like I'm about to start leading pitches up the face. In the meantime, we can see the helicopter coming back and forth, dropping off the rest of our team.
And so as we're climbing, you've got weight on your back, anywhere from 50 to 60 pounds of gear in your backpack.
It's like a relay race of all this gear. I think it was around 10 when Todd made contact with the patient.
I knew that this team was going to get us down safely.
They had a pretty good improvised splint on her lower left leg. One of the first things I did when I got there was switch from the improvised splint to the vacuum splint, and that made a huge difference.
It's cold, and especially because there was a storm brewing and the wind was blowing, so we're kind of all freezing at this point.
The big risk that night was hypothermia.
Once the litter arrived with our final 2 members, we would assemble that. We started to get ready to load the patient.
Getting that person into the litter in this really cramped and technical space was really challenging. This wasn't like a ledge that you could just freely maneuver on. You needed to be roped in so that you didn't fall off the face. Todd was managing the patient. I was managing the rope line and the anchoring to get the lowering system started, and Erica was going to manage the actual lower.
We used the twin tension system, so that incorporated 2 people at the top running each of those ropes. The reason for that is safety and redundancy.
We're going to orient the litter in a vertical orientation, so we have 1 responder on either side and 1 at the foot to help move through the terrain. Each of those ropes takes a person controlling the descent of that rope. The 6th person is down, basically being the scout to find where the next anchor is going to be.
When the litter is being lowered, I don't want it to be lowered directly above me. I want to be off to the side.
We're also managing rockfall, so we really only want 1 moving thing at a time.
I would rappel down on a single rope, generally in a zigzagging fashion.
We had to navigate terrain that was much more moderately angled, which took a lot more on those litter attendants.
There was still rockfall. And I remember at one point, I think the team kind of yelled rock. One of the team members literally puts himself over the litter to make sure I'm okay.
I think at around 9, we finally made it down, and we were welcomed by a bunch of our other team members.
That's when it really hit me, the magnitude of the rescue. It was amazing to me at that moment that all of these people had taken the time, had left their homes and left their families and loved ones to come to make sure that I'd gotten down safely.
At that point, the litter was already halfway down the talus field. So it was very rewarding to have to pull the ropes on that last climb, but realize that we've got 20 other people here to help us through the rest of the day.
From there, it is just under 3 miles back to the trailhead. From, oh no, I broke my leg, to getting into the waiting ambulance for her was just under 24 hours.
When they finally put me onto the stretcher to put me into the ambulance, then I realized, again, all of this was done. And I think I looked down and I thought, I don't even know how to thank the team that's here.
When there's this life-threatening injury and you go out and you meet this person the first time and probably the hardest moment of their life, it feels fulfilling afterwards to know that they're doing okay.
For me, it's all about fitting into my community around here. We help people out of sticky situations out in the mountains, and that feels good too. These situations do come along where we need it.
We all get some sort of life sustenance out of the mountains. It's a way to repay some of that back to the mountaineering community.
You know, when I look back on this entire experience, it is really this wonderful feeling about just the good people that are out there to make sure that I got off that mountain safely are true heroes.